It's TMNT time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're going to have a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Wrath of Krang. What that means is, it's Krang in his android body. We got the Neca box, which has the old school VHS style box, which I love. Actually got some cool artwork on the back as well. And yes, this is what we call a must-have, because it is the prized possession. Krang in the android body, even like back in the day, this thing was a beast. And now we got like the most cartoon accurate version from Neca, so let's have a look at it. But before we go on, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because it really helps me out, really helps me grow, really helps me get noticed in this ruthless YouTube ecosystem. So don't forget, it's very easy, only takes a second, it doesn't cost you anything, and I would really appreciate it. So we do have some decent size on our hands. How much? Well, he stands at about 22 centimeters to the top of his head. If you're taking the antenna, that's an extra half centimeter. And for your inches, I would say 8.8 and going up to almost 9 again with the antenna. Size comparisons. Here's Jolter, SH Figure Arts Goku, the original Playmates toy, the short one, because I don't have the big one. If you want to send it to me, holla at your boy on Twitter or Facebook. Super 7 Leonardo, a Neca turtle, Donatello in this case, and NT01 Cerebral, which is an unlicensed, unofficial Krang release. And Darkseid. One thing right out of the bat, I can tell you, stability is not his greatest feature. The feet are kind of problematic. Now, overall look and detail of the figure. He's big and bulky and just a big top of robot meat. I mean, not really meat, but obviously the design is... I don't even know how to describe it. How did they come up with this? Like, generally speaking, it's weird, but it has all of the 90s charm that I'm used to it. So you got the weird goggles. You also have the antenna sticking out, which is removable. And the one thing about this guy is he does have the two-tone. I was gonna say there's no two-tone coloring in the back of his head, which is kind of weird. That's the rest of it on the body. Also in the yellow, in the pants. Well, not again in the pants, but then again on the legs and not on the feet. So two-tone coloring, not all throughout the figure for whatever reason. You got the black lines, the cartoon lines, which are clean for the most part. Well, I say clean, I'd rather say okay. Considering the price point, that's always what I'm gonna go back at. You have the gray on his weird shoulder straps, which do have some black lining around the tabs on it, but the straps themselves don't really have that. And you have these 3 holes over here, which also have some more line work painted on. And he has a ventilation shaft in the back, I guess. Shoulder pads are also soft plastic, and his weird elbow joints, which now looking at it, this one definitely looks like Wi-Fi. But that was back in the 90s, so they weren't thinking about that. Well, early 80s. Well, no, late 80s. When did the show start again? I think it was late 80s. Yeah, I'm not good on dates. I'm not a historian or something. Got the yellow with a handlebar on there, and it is a butt plug, or not. Moving on from that, you have a nice interior for Krang, a little bit of a cockpit. You can move these things around. His little joysticks over there. 2 red dots, which are a little bit more shiny than the rest of the figure, and the big red pantsuit. That's not counting. Also red gloves with the wristbands, kind of have the same design as the straps. Also does stand out a little bit over there. This is actually elevated from the rest of the figure. Same with these smaller tabs. Well, it's more like molded on there. It doesn't really elevate that much. Then we go down to the legs, has some more mechanical detail, I guess, on the sides, the big knees, and the red shoes, which are a bit wobbly and stuff. But regardless of that, he definitely has the look. Now, the one thing is, like, the shape, the skin tone actually is a bit dark, but that is one of these things that really changes from episode to episodes, because animation, especially back in the day, was not consistent. Now I want to move on to the articulation. Obviously, this being a big honking Goliath, he does not have the best articulation, but you know, I'm okay with them not cutting up the figure too much. So the head is actually quite nimble, does have his fat head with the double triple chins, does tilt side to side, does not really move back so much to the front is okay, and does swivel all the way around. Then you got the big hinge in the shoulder, you can bring that up and down and also swivel it around. And we have one more hinge in the elbow and another hinge in the hand, so it does accomplish the same thing, moves up and down and swivels also over here. Actually, it's very stiff, so be careful with that not to break off the pack. I wouldn't really force it too much. Don't have anything over here, they didn't put in the swivel, and there's a reason for that. You can, I don't know if that's supposed to be a feature, but you can take them apart, I guess, to put in Krang. So this is somewhat pushable, but it's not the best way to do it, honestly. Like, I'm really afraid that might break off some tabs or whatnot. Then we got the crotch piece is soft plastic, it's pantsu, so the legs do move forward, do move to the back, out to the side, and does rotate on the ball. Also, the crotch area rotates around, not all the way, but just gives you a little bit of a wiggle. Double hinged knees go all the way up. And then for the foot, as I was saying, you have the hinge, and it does rotate around, but I guess like the plastic that goes around the boot is pushing it back. So they kind of, what if I kind of pull it out a little bit? I guess you can kind of play around with it, but that's really one of the big issues I think with the stability is that, and that's not really their fault, that's more the design of the figure. Now, for your accessories, you do get a lot to play around with, and I'm gonna give you the baby shredder first, which actually looks pretty cool. You have a big hinge in there. I think that's a little bit excessive, but I guess, so you can sit them down and pose them in a hand or whatever. But yeah, not only that, also there's the feet. Not only that, you also have hinges in the shoulder, so you can bring that up and down as much as the sculpt really lets it. Obviously, it clashes with the helmet, but also has rotation in there, and also the head has some up and down movement. We're tilt side to side, but once again, the helmet is completely in the way, but still, this is a very cool piece. Paint on it is really clean considering how small he is. And yeah, nice accessory. Obviously, you gotta have a Krang to sit in the bot. This one looks kind of rough, I don't know. It feels like the paint job isn't completely done. There's like, what is this kind of smack of dark in there, and then for the rest of the figure, it doesn't really have one. So I don't know. I mean, it looks like a good Krang, but the paint is kind of weird. His arms are on, I think that's just ball joints. You can rotate that around, bring it up and down a little bit. Or is it ball hinges? I don't know. But anyway, that's your articulation for it. Also has a big hole, so it does fit nicely, snugly in there. It will stay in there, it won't like move around. Okay, I'm probably gonna heat them up before I kind of squeeze that in, but already we can tell it's a tight fit. You do have a shower cap. Yes, you just kind of drape that over his head, take the antenna out, take this one, and put the antenna back in. That's why it has a hole. And yes, I actually do remember that one. I do remember, I think Shredder calling Krang while he's taking a bath in the thing. Or was he out of the bath? Because I think this is the bath towel. It's just like a real cloth thing. I want to keep it in the plastic, I don't want to use it. But you do have that, which is a nice detail. And that's really the story of this figure. You got a lot of extra stuff that has some reminiscence to some episodes. I also have some plans for the robot body itself and the, what was it, the Knucklehead? I think that's the name of the spider robot. Is Neca teasing a Knucklehead? Oh. Does Neca do vehicles? I don't think Neca does vehicles. Super 7 has been teasing about a vehicle. Well, not really teasing. They've been asked about it. And they were like, yeah, let's do the Thunder Tank first, and then we'll see. Then we got the hands. We got two kind of holding hands and two more opening hands. Choking hands, honestly. Booby grab hands. No fist hands. Also, just to remember, these hands on the figure, no fist hands, which I just find weird. I think that should be the standard. Then you have a necklace with something in there. Don't remember what that's for. You got these morning stars, which is great. This is great stuff, and this is actually also real metal. So this is not gonna break off. It is fairly heavy, and it is very spiky. So if you're full speed ahead hitting that in somebody's face, it's gonna leave a mark. But don't do that, or do that. I'm not telling you what to do. But yeah, you just kind of peg that in where the hands are supposed to go. There's the pegs for it. And you got And my axe, which does have a nice paint job, also some light blue and a line on there, make it look a lot more cartoony. Got this kind of saw blade, which moves around. Shout out to Gears of War. I don't know why I did that, why I said that. Has nothing to do with the review, but yeah, I like Gears of War. With the Lancer. Anyway. Then you have laser cannons or flamethrowers. Not sure. They do have bolts though. I cannot unsee it. I cannot unsee it. So yeah, also you get like a second antenna, which is still in the box if you're losing the first one. You got a shot at the second one, but don't lose that one. So I was gonna do the final thoughts, but before I do, I decided I want to have a side-by-side look at the NT01 and the original Krang released by Neca. Not really just so much like just give you a look at it side by side. It's a different beast altogether. They made their own design, made it look more robotic so they didn't get sued. In the final thoughts, I'm gonna probably say how much this one is probably the best one. I don't know, you make it up for yourself. The thing about the NT01, again, it's never hit stores like legit. It's been old, it's been out for a while. I picked it up when it did came out, and now it's hard to get and it's expensive, so you know, I just wanted to give you the look, and that's really all I want to say about that. I don't really know where I was going with this. Final thoughts. I was trying to get this done fast because it keeps falling over, and that's the biggest issue, really. This figure looks great. It's awesome. It really captures the nostalgia and does deliver a super good Krang figure, and that's what I'm gonna say. Like the best Krang figure out there, maybe the NT01, but it's a different beast altogether. So. Availability, obviously, for the Krang figure is a lot easier, and yeah, it just looks great. The articulation, it's kind of whatever, but he's big, beefy, bulky, so obviously you're not gonna ninja kick a lot. He's really not really out there for big combat poses, and that's why they kind of made it up with like delivering tons and tons of accessories with this guy, and I'm still keeping my hands open in case he falls over again. I don't want to damage it. Don't want to damage the paint. So yeah. This one is recommended, absolutely. I feel like it's a must-have in any turtle collection. That's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Krang wants. Do not fall over anymore, please.